that Ube is still possible. Personally, I don't want to see it because I just don't like the strategy very much. That's a little bit of personal bias there. But here we've got our random map selection for our very first game. And we're going to kick things off with Flying Cloud for game 1 between Team Malaysia and Team Iran.
Flying Clouds. I mean, again, we talked about how this map, right, is just pretty much how it gives a little bit of advantage for you to go into the LAN a little bit earlier on, a bit faster, but that's pretty much it. Just at least before you actually try to go enter for any team fight, you have some teleportation or even a cloud to actually fly you straight into the team fight. But that's pretty much it. I feel like from all of the maps that's been introduced into our Mlbb or LAN of Dawn itself, I think the most risky one is coming in from the broken walls or even from grass itself. Those are the things that are very risky. Flying Cloud itself, I think pretty much it just gives you a little bit of time to get into the ladder off. That's pretty much it. But I wonder if you have any input other than what I've talked about.
I mean, you're not off the mark, basically. Flying Clouds probably has one of the least impacts out of the 4 new maps. The only major thing that it affects overall is actually the laning phase, because it does help you get back in lane more quickly. So heroes that would ordinarily have a very difficult time winning out priority in their respective 1v1s will generally have a bit more advantage in Flying Cloud, because you don't lose out as much if you do get poked out of lane. But once you head on into the mid-game phase, the ability to back your team up with Flying Cloud is actually a very rare occurrence. There's only very niche situations where it actually matters heavily towards the game state.
Oh yeah, I agree with that, definitely. And the fact that I think that's pretty much the thing that the teams have to actually take note of. And yeah, they can actually have that kind of advantage for it. But this is just us talking, because we are ready already to go in for our first draft of the day. Again, the series between Malaysia versus Iran. Now, we know for a fact some of the teams, they might not have all the past, not to say past fights or records that we've seen from the previous or last year, 2024 itself, like Iran, who just debuted here for 2025. Malaysia, however, they did participate last year, but did not qualify for the group stage. So again, we're just going to say how these two teams are fresh for their records itself. But knowing for a fact that we are kind of well known for Malaysia team, now knowing that they are not the first pick, so other teams are going to actually take out the hero meta, such as like you talked about how Nolan, or even like the fact that some of the players that we know that are very quite well put with their heroes of their signatures, Fao, Honey, or even Shah itself. What are your thoughts on this?
I feel like we will probably stick to the more default metas nowadays. I do believe that the Malaysia women's team is known for having a slightly more aggressive stance, but they're not the types that will go out of their way to look for fights either. Going for a more team fight setup, heroes like Eve and Gatok Kacha will usually have better setups for them if they're deciding to go in that direction. I'm personally a little bit more interested to see what Team Iran is actually going to bring up here, because once again, we don't have a lot of information about the playstyles, about the player backgrounds, about their personal preferences, or just how the team wants to approach Mlbb in general.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. So the question is, like, what are the heroes that right here? Okay, we're gonna just scratch off the records itself as a player itself, right? Let's see the heroes that should be aware of or should be just taken out from the pool itself.
Let's see what heroes we need to concerned about. If we're sticking to the typical meta, firstly, it's going to be jungler picks are right now quite limited. It's mainly Hayabusa, Lancelot, and then Fanny. But Fanny is quite typically banned out. Besides that, because of the fighter gold lane meta, you get to see quite a lot of fighters being prioritized. They're not usually banned out because it's kind of difficult to get rid of most of them. But then you will get to see certain picks being removed depending on how well their opponent will perform with them, right? So we'll see things like the Lapu Lapu or the Arlet, right? Sometimes we see Alice show up. Yuzong also getting quite popular under recent days. Hilda also recently getting a small adjustment. I don't think it's too much of a buff. It's more of a bug fix than anything, but can be a quite solid pick if you are dealing with something like an assassin in the opposite jungle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we're kind of actually getting a little bit of technical issue right here, as the fact that we're not going to be able to see the banning phase. However, unfortunately, I'm really quite sad about that, but we do apologize right here from our own desk as well as for the production. Not to worry, probably we'll be able to see it sooner or later. Hopefully they'll be able to fix it out as soon as possible. But then again, let's just going in wondering what it's going to be. This is like mind games for us to actually read out what are the strategies coming in from Iran as well as Malaysia.
It does mean that we're basically going to be surprised once we actually do jump into the game, right? What kind of hero picks are actually go? Oh, hold on. All right, we've got the update. Thank you very much, everyone, for being patient. Now let us analyze Team Iran. And we're going with Gatot, Kacha, Alice, and Granger. Whereas Malaysia have Iesf, Grok, and Yisun Shin.
Wow. Okay. For the first pick, they already picked out Gatot Kacha, which is, I think that that's pretty much a really good opening coming from them. But the question is, why Malaysia kind of pretty much prioritized on getting the Grok as well as Iesf. I think Iesf is a little bit too earlier on to actually pick up. That's just a bit of my hot takes right now. But it depends. I don't know. I'm not sure about it because I think that there's a lot of heroes that they can actually prioritize. But now coming into Iran, actually giving a little bit of response after the two players or two heroes been picked out, Alice as well as Granger is a very good response coming in. And now with IESF already been picked out, we're going in for the second phase of banning.
I got a response to you there because Iesf is just straight off a good pick.
Really?
Like she is just one of the best mid laners in the meta currently. And probably one of the safest ones to actually start with because yes, she's quite vulnerable standing in the back, but she's still generally more durable than other mages, especially when paired together with a hero like Grok. I already mentioned earlier, Team Malaysia likes going for more team fight styles, so this already lines up with that. And by going with the Yisun Shin in the jungle as well, they actually open themselves up for potential double fighter side lane matchup, which allows them to deal with hero picks like the Granger and Alice, which require a little bit more time to get scaled.
Yeah, definitely. So this is pretty much Malaysia trying to put out a little bit of strategy like you gotta go in for the fast pace. If you're not actually able to control the game movement from the start, it might actually give an opportunity for Iran to actually come back again. So these are the crucial question coming in from Malaysia to control the wave, control the team fight earlier on. Now going into the banning phase right now, we do see that Hayabusa. We talked about how Hayabusa, one of the junglers, had been taken out and very, very prioritized for the banning phase, or even to be taken in as well. If you want to actually prioritize it to be used, also good. But now, going into all the bid completed, now we got Fredrin as well as Farsa, and I think we did see. I think is that Ruby right there?
It was
Ruby.
It was the Ruby Labu Labu, so Team Malaysia is actually going for the double fighter side lane composition, and it's going to be very powerful because they already have a solid mid-game lineup with the Iesf and the Grok. One thing that they could be lacking is general independence because this team is going to need to play together a lot of time to make things happen, but they're not going to be punished for that too much because Team Iran is playing a more default lineup. They're going for tank jungler with Fredrin to try and set up for Granger's late game scaling.
But that is just our analysis right now is in their hands. Let's give it up for the two teams here for our first series. Again, welcome to the World Esports Championship 2025, Malaysia versus Iran.
Game 1 about to begin in grand fashion right here, ladies and gentlemen. So for anyone watching at home, place your bets right now. Guess which of these two teams is going to come out on top in game number 1. But once again, we can jump into the land of dawn here, do a little bit of analysis. On paper, Malaysia should have the advantage towards the early mid-game stage because that is the general purpose of the double fighter side lane comp in the first place. But they do have to worry about ganks. The Gatot Farsa duo can instantly burst someone down if they're not prepared for it.
Yeah, that's kind of true though. So again, you've talked about how Team Navi or Team Malaysia, to begin with, the fact that they are prioritizing on micro gaming, micro style, where they need to be sticking together. If they want to actually go for the team fight, it's not going to be easy as a solo or individual itself. So coming in right now, as we see, seems like they are going to actually go out with Rina as well as Shah. A little bit too as tension, but then again, not to worry because it's still earlier on. Everybody is still on a level 3. Not much of the damage that can actually be put out. And now they're still waiting for the 3 seconds of the turtle to be spawned out.
Team Malaysia is definitely the one that wants to create momentum on their side. Again, playing double fighter side lane, having strong team fight heroes like Rock and Eve comboing together means that in general, they will have the advantage during objective battles. It's very difficult for Team Iran to walk up if there's enough members of Malaysia around, but they're still gonna try.
Oh, they're definitely going to try and going all out. Right there, Mountain Shocker straight away, able to get the turtle first. Oh, RW have been put out. Get Lishka for the first blood. As well, and now they're not going to allow any Sturgeon coming in. Nil will be taken off for the second kill as well. No, he was able to move in. She is able to back up. Only one casualty was able to steal away by Team Malaysia.
It was definitely still a win for Team Malaysia, but Team Iran was able to get away without losing as much as I would have expected there. It was a very good initiation from Neil. Actually got a 3-man Throne of a Ruin right there inside the turtle pit, but unfortunately, she went just a little bit too far. The rest of the team is not able to catch up in time because they do have 2 slower frontliners, and without them, it's very difficult for them to actually try and disrupt the positioning of Team Malaysia. Because of that, it was very easy for them to make sure that Rina was still able to secure the red 3 timing on the turtle, and then the RLM just locked them in. It's lucky that Team Iran didn't actually lose more there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think pretty much that Team Malaysia had actually control every single motion, and despite the fact that Neil was able to get away with 3 players already contesting it, or even try to actually conquering her movement, he was able to back off very quickly and safely with a little bit of leeway. But at the same time, right here, that Sherry wants to go in all out to push in Honey, but that's just going to be a little bit of push and pull from the side of Iran towards Malaysia. But and again, seems like Neil push out, mobilize Rina as well as Shah. But then again, 4 players already stacks up. They're waiting for the team of Malaysia. But knowing for a fact that right here, Yuki says, nah, putting out the wall straight away to say, back off from my teammates.
I'm liking the rotations here from Team Malaysia. You know that the turtle is coming up in 15 seconds. You see the gank coming in. Neil even committing the Throne of Ruin means that most likely the other members of Team Iran are nearby. Even though it looked like they were in a 2v1 situation, they knew that they would probably be outnumbered since they didn't have vision of anyone else on the map. And by doing that, they keep their entire team alive, all of their cooldowns available as well. This should be a very easy turtle take once again.
Yep, definitely. Great conquering coming in from Yuki itself. The fact that literally a great zoning, denying every entrance, every movement coming in from Iran. And the fact that, okay, here's the thing about the team from Malaysia, right? Fafo is all alone, was able to actually just counter off Kana. And Kana almost able to back away without the wall right there. As well, gonna pull in the mighty swing throughout her, but again, it's not gonna be a quick fight for the team of Malaysia as they're just trying to actually chew away Iran's positioning.
Yeah, they're taking this slow, but they know that they need to continue pushing on the pressure right here. It looks like they're gonna try and engage on the Grok.
Gonna go in for Yuki right there, but again, Yuki doesn't need to worry much because the fact that he's be able to go in, he goes for the dash straight away, gets 3, but at the same time, Fafo gets their phone up, but at the same time, can't actually survive. RW be put up by Honey, but Jerry takes power first. But now, mighty swing as much as possible to Lishka doesn't gonna do anything because Kana gets Yuki, and Honey doesn't have the ball up. But the Mountain Shocker by Rina for the back off, and now Kana will be the next victim for the double kill itself.
All right, quite a quick sequence of events right there. Iran, honestly, good call to actually try and engage on that since they knew that the rest of Team Malaysia were on the opposite side of the map. But unfortunately, because they are a scaling composition, they weren't able to burst down the members of Team Malaysia long enough. Then we got to see the massive combo of the Tectonic Charge into the I'm Offended AOG, while Iran was still coming out on top because Rina and Shah were not part of that fight. It lasted long enough that the Yi Sun-shin was able to make it over and get the cleanup in, which means that Team Malaysia still does come out on top, and that's an excellent timing as well because the next turtle is going to be up in another 15 seconds.
Looking at the side of Malaysia right now as they're able to actually get 2 turrets, not only from the top as well as the bottom. Now more conquering of the engagement as well as the Land of Dom from the side of Malaysia. Iran trying their best to make sure that the middle turret will not be break through. A lot of the ways clear out for themselves, especially Nirvana not allowing it. But again, with them trying to actually make sure all the wave will not come through their own turret, it will give all the opportunity of free turtle straight away in the hands of Malaysia.
We're at the stage of the game right now where Team Iran is unfortunately going to need to give up a little bit of their mid game in order to make sure that they're still able to farm up. The goal right now is to basically sacrifice farm on the rest of the members in order to make sure they can funnel as much as possible into Kana on this Granger. Luckily for them, the gold lead still isn't the biggest right now. It's only a few thousand in favor of Team Malaysia, so it is still possible for them to make a comeback as long as they don't lose too much more map control. It's going to be difficult to achieve that because Malaysia is definitely starting to put on the pressure.
A lot of pressure, a lot of thorns been put out by Lisicka, but still it's not going to be enough to actually stop every movement of Malaysia. This is where we talk about how the macro gaming, the team fight, they will stick together, make sure they contest each and every single trade. And again, the mid lane finally has been break, so the first layer of turret has already been conquered by Team Malaysia. Getting closer and closer, they'll be able to actually even steal some of the buffs, not only all of the buff might be in the hands of Team Malaysia already. And again, the Team Iran somehow looks a little bit lost at their moment with the crucial stage.
Yeah, Team Iran unfortunately going to have a very difficult time even finding any space on the map right now. And this is one of the benefits of going for the Sun Shin with double fighter side lane composition. You have a lot of heroes that can operate generally independently, and that means that you can spread your grip over the map a lot more easily. Iran playing a more classic lineup, relying very heavily on this far side Granger to do damage, means that their backline is always going to be vulnerable to dives.
Oh, and look at that. They're literally giving opportunity, but again, they put out the frontal strikes right here, but at the same time, it's not going to be enough just to give a little bit of clearing of the minion wave. They're just letting off a little bit of breather for Iran to have their own space. But again, lots of the turrets already been taken out by Team Malaysia. Now they're looking forward for the mid as well. Got the taunts here, but at the same time, Mighty Swing comes in and Honey takes down straight away. RDM been put out and Team Iran is a little bit scared. They had to back up. Mountain Shocker takes down Neil immediately, getting one kill for themselves.
A very systematic movements right there from Team Malaysia. Shah dived in, cut the line in half, didn't allow Iran to walk up to defend their tier 2, and even timed the Raging Slash to make sure that she could anti-CC the AOG coming in. Neil tried to go for the dive because she is going to be the front line for Team Iran. But unfortunately, with the lack of damage and the positioning right now, it is very difficult for them to actually put up a fight in these direct 5v5s. Team Malaysia are right now on a direct shot to victory, and Team Iran's going to need to pray for something big to happen here in order to turn this around.
Oh, agree, definitely. Any mistakes that's coming in from Team Malaysia might actually be the key solution for Team Iran. But then again, looking how clean so far, every movement that was done already from Team Malaysia, that's a miracle for Team Iran if they want to do something right here. And again, getting a lot of economy-wise already on the upper hands for Team Malaysia. They've already got all the turtles. Lot is marching in, and this is just the first lot coming in. And known for a fact, the first lot is not as powerful as the second as well as the third, yet it might be enough to actually break the middle turret. The inhibitor turrets right here will be breaking immediately for the whole defense, but again, they're coming in straight away! Honey takes down Kana! RWM straight away, but at the same time, AOG takes down two, but unfortunately, it's going to be Yuki, the only one to be sacrificed. Now trying to push in, Ripapa try to go in for the offended, but unfortunately not going to be able to take anyone. Team Iran goes back to the middle with Crystal already been an opportunity to the side of the Team Lord, and as well, Lord has crashed, but Farfall still away Neil, and now they're pushing in even more. Are they going to actually deny it immediately? With Sherry trying to pull away, trying to make sure that Shah does not. Feather Strike trying to be open up to actually shoo away the team of Mars, but Malaysia still surviving. Crystal just a little bit more if they can actually pull through. Rina looking forward to Kana, but doesn't manage to take her down, so she had to pull away to the fountain, but did manage to take down Sherry instead, and Lishika will be the next victim for the mega kill of Rina. And again, the Crystal will be first, and it is going to be the first win to Team Malaysia.
That is basically the definition of brute forcing your way to victory right there. Legitimately a ridiculous call being made right there by Team Malaysia to full dive behind the middle inhibitor while the Lord is still trying to break it down. They could have been punished super hard for that, but I also respect that they made the decision. They knew that their lineup might start dropping off if they allow the game to last too long.